What's going on, everybody? King of Dragons 5000 here, coming at you with another figure review. Today we'll be having a look at the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse, the Joker from Batman Arkham Asylum. And so here we have the Arkham Asylum Joker posed and out of the packaging. Before we take a look at the figure, let's actually take a look at what he comes with. Joker, of course, does come with his gun, which does fit in his right hand. The detail on it looks really good. I am glad he comes with it. He also does come with two different versions of the chattering teeth. We do get one where it's closed completely, and then we also do get one where it's open. Joker, of course, also does come with the McFarlane DC display stage. Other than that, he doesn't come with anything else, and I think my main disappointment comes with these. I kind of wish that they had hinges in them so they both could open and close, but that's neither here nor there. So with that out of the way, guys, let's actually take a closer look at the Joker. And so here we have a closer look at the Arkham Asylum Joker, and right off the bat I'm going to say there's something about this head sculpt that isn't perfect. I don't know if it's the fact that his eyes might be a little bit too small, or maybe his eyes are too low. There's something throwing off the look of this figure. Now, I think one issue that I have with it is that it's too white. You look at the rest of the figure in terms of his hair, his costume, his flower, even his undersuit right here. It all has this beautiful wash to it. Joker's face seems too clean. I think that's mainly throwing it off. If it had a wash going around it, I believe that would make this a much better head sculpt, because as it stands, there is a lot of detail in his head, but it gets lost because we don't have any way to bring out that detail. If I just hide the harsh lighting, you can see how much detail is actually in this figure, and I think it's a little disappointing that we get a stark white head with this beautiful head sculpt. Just look at how much detail is there. The wrinkles get lost. It's just sad that the stark white of his skin does throw off the look of the figure. But it's still a really good figure, I'm not going to lie. The head sculpt is probably my main issue with it. You can see they added a wash to his hair, which that looks really good. Having a look at his costume, his bow tie is of course green, and it has that beautiful dry brushing and wash going on it. His lapel flower, as you can see right here, again, so much detail in it. It's a wilting flower with the inside of it still yellow. You can see that they sculpted every bit of detail on his jacket. That is superb. The buttons on him are painted gold, and they're even gold right here on his undershirt, so really good job there. Just the sculpt work on this figure is amazing. They even got the little smooth patch on his jacket done nicely, and it even has detail on it that is extremely well done. Looking at the back of his coat right here, you can see it has two buttons. Again, has that supposed smooth patch, but it looks great with that little detail, and from a distance it does look smooth, so really good job there. And I do like the fact that his jacket is a soft piece. Now turning the figure around so we can take a look at his arm. Unfortunately, because his arm and his elbow joint are two separate types of plastic, his elbow is a harder plastic while this is a softer plastic. They did unfortunately couldn't sculpt it in the same color, but that's not a big deal. Under normal lights you don't notice it as much. Under harsh lights, yeah, you kind of notice it, so that's probably why you're seeing the difference in color. His gloves are this really nice deep purple color, and again we have a contrast in texturing right here and here, especially on the coat. There's so much contrasting detail on him, which does bring out a lot of detail. Again, looking at his belt, the belt even has texture in it. That's something you really don't see too many companies do. Normally it's just a smooth belt, but his belt has texture. You can see his belt buckle is of course his own face, because the Joker is a very vain person. Really nice sculpted chain going into his pocket. I'm glad that they sculpted that and didn't make it a separate piece, because if it was a separate piece, oh, that would be so much of a hassle, because they'd have to peg it in somewhere and then peg it into the leg. It would really hinder a lot of stuff. we still continue that really beautiful line work. Now, unfortunately, he does have a patch right here on his knee, and that's the way it is in the video game. You can see they kind of sculpted it on, but it looks like they only sculpted it halfway. It's missing the top part of the patch, and it's supposed to be a square patch that goes on his leg, so that's a little bit unfortunate that they didn't sculpt it perfectly, but it has a contrasting texture versus his other knee, so you can see that going all the way down to his shoes. His shoes even have the really nice leather, worn leather, I might add, texture to them. The spats have this really nice sculpt work to them, so Joker here is chock full of detail. There is not a single part on this figure that has been used for a previous figure. Everything about him is unique to this figure, and that's not even saying how good his articulation is, because despite the look of it, he has really good articulation. But before we look into his articulation, let's compare him to other figures you may have in your collection. Here we have the Joker posed next to a Marvel Legends Cyclops and a DC Multiverse Superman. Here we have the Joker posed next to a WWE Elite Scale figure and a Mezco 1/12 Collective Popeye the Sailor Man. Here we have the Joker posed next to a Lightning Collection White Ranger and a Star Wars Black Series Mandalorian. And finally, here we do have the Joker posed next to a McFarlane Multiverse Wonder Woman and the McFarlane Multiverse Arkham Asylum Batman. So with the comparisons out of the way, let's actually have a look at the Joker's articulation. Joker here, despite looking like it, has a lot of articulation on him, I'm not gonna lie. I think it's probably better than Batman's too, with maybe the exception of his ab joint, but we'll get onto that in a little bit. He does have a ball joint in the head, and I do believe it's a double ball joint, so you can pivot his head forward and back if you really want to. We do get some really nice tilt on that. Goes up, looks down, swivels really nicely. And he does have a ball joint at the neck, so you can get him to hunch over a little bit more. Does go back. Unfortunately, it doesn't have too much sideways movement, so that's a little bit unfortunate. Its main purpose is to help him with forward and back movement. Arms are on ball joints that connect into the torso, so that we do get a butterfly joint. Now, it is a little bit strange that on mine, in order to get the butterfly joint to work, you have to rotate his arm a certain way, and you can see it doesn't really want to move, and I want to say that's just on my figure, but you can see it doesn't move on its own. I have to move his arm back and then bring it forward, and that works the butterfly joint. So you can see just how much work has to go into just making that butterfly joint work. That might just be on mine. If it's on yours, let me know down in the comments. But his arm does a full 360, no problem. Goes out to the side all the way. We do have a swivel here at the bicep, double bend at the elbow. As you can see, he can touch the back of his head if he really wanted to. Ball hinge here at the shoulder, or at the wrist, my bad. Does have in and out movement, and we can rotate that up. So he has up and down movement, which is perfect for his gun holding hand. Now, just like with the Batman Who Laughs and Green Arrow, this is a soft piece. Everything on his jacket is a soft plastic, so he does have a hinge which goes all the way back. I do like the fact that the Joker can matrix. Unfortunately, they did make the plastic thicker in the front, as they did with the Batman Who Laughs and Green Arrow, so even though he can get all the way forward, it just bounces him back just a little bit. So his articulation point should be right here, but it does get in the way a little bit, so do be aware of that. We also do get a sideways hinge right here on the Joker, so he can lean to the side really nicely, and combine that with his crunch, we do get some crazy articulation. And then he does rotate down here at the waist. Legs do kick forward to about there, really good articulation. Kick back, go out to the side, no problem. A little bit of a thigh swivel, nothing too major. Double bend at the knee, going all the way up, no problem. He does rotate at the foot, but unfortunately his pant leg does come down a little too far, so we don't get too much articulation. In his ankle, it does move forward and back a little bit. Side to side, a little bit. Then we do get a toe hinge. So overall, really like the articulation here on Joker. So what we're going to do now is get him posed for my final thoughts, and then we'll wrap up this review. And so here we have the McFarlane Multiverse Joker from Arkham Asylum posed for my final thoughts. That is a mouthful. Overall, I think this is a really fantastic figure, even though he does have a few issues with the head. I think they could have added a wash to his skin tone just to bring out some of the detail. His head looks really clean, despite the fact he's covered in a lot of dirt, so I think they should have really added a dry brushing or a wash to his face. But other than that, my only other complaint are his chattering teeth accessory. Why does only one pair open up and neither one of them has a hinge? And that's something I kind of wish they both had a hinge, that way they could open and close, because as it stands, they're nice little accessories to have at his feet, but they don't do much, unfortunately. So Joker here is chock full of detail, articulation, and what's the best thing about this figure is probably the price. This Joker is going for no more than $20, and that's fantastic. I do think that the McFarlane Multiverse are really worth the money that you put into them. There's so much detail on these figures that if you're still on the fence about getting them, if there were two figures you had to pick up, I would recommend the Arkham Asylum Joker and the Arkham Asylum Batman, because I think these two are really good examples of what McFarlane can do with the DC license. If you are looking for the Joker, I have seen him at Walmart. That's pretty much where I picked mine up. Haven't seen him at Target, but I know Best Buy is carrying him online, and of course Amazon. So if you order him online, you can get him shipped for free with Amazon Prime, and I'm just saying that. I'm not sponsored or anything, just letting you know. But Joker here is a great addition to the Multiverse collection. And with that being said, guys, I'm KingofDragons 5000. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel. Let me know down in the comments if there's a figure you would like to see me review. And if it fits in my collection, I'll definitely have a look at it. While you're at it, check out my Instagram account for new and exciting action figure photos. And as always, ring that bell to be notified every time I upload a video. Until next time, guys, I'll see you later. Take care, everyone.